What's happening, Wargamers? Welcome to another episode of the Dossier, the Marvel Crisis Protocol show, where we discuss Crisis Protocol characters, their sculpts, their cards, and what they bring to the table, and just generally give our overall thoughts and feelings on the characters in the game. Remember, these aren't meant to be in-depth review type videos. There's lots of great discussions online that you can go find. These are just kind of meant to get you thinking about characters that you might not have thought about for a little while or might not have considered a bit. And of course, these shows can't happen without the wonderful support of everyone on the Patreon. They support every month to kind of make this show, this channel work and continue on and keep it current and all this sort of stuff. So thank you so much for everyone at Patreon. You too can support the channel at patreon.com/AegisBrand or hit up iwargame.net and save 10% using code AegisBrand. Anyway, today we are going to be taking a look at one of the probably best anti-heroes that we've seen come out of the 90s, and that is going to be Venom, Eddie Brock. And this was everyone's favorite sort of like edgy hero back from the 90s when he first became a thing. So yeah, so we have Venom here, and like right off the bat, he is big, he is imposing. Like the size of his model is just absolutely great. He has that bulk to him, which is really nice. It's really emphasized by the medium-sized base. You know, everything about him just is large, is imposing. The only downside is he is a little static of a model. Like he has that tactical rock. He's stepping forward. That's about all he's really got going on for him. So the model itself, while I like the size, I like the imposing, it does kind of suffer a little bit from that. Uh, he's not very dynamic, unfortunately, as a result. And given Venom's character, I feel like they could have done something a little bit more dynamic with him, especially when we compare him to a lot of the other symbiote characters that we've gotten so far. Otherwise, I mean, he's fine. Being a black model, it's always kind of tricky to kind of get those details on there. You can see here, I went very black with him. I tried to get some undertone shading. It didn't really work out. So unfortunately, he's just kind of there as a model. He's not the worst, but not the best either. As far as his card, so he's got a stamina of 7 on the healthy, 6 on the injured. He's got a 4-2-3 defensive line, so that 2 energy defense in the current energy meta is a little rough, but I don't think it's as bad as a lot of people talk about. But I'm going to get to that later in the video. And then he's a short mover on a medium base. That one I do think hurts him a little bit. Size 3, 4 threat. He's got a physical attack, Symbiote Tendrils, range 3, 5 dice. It is your typical builder attack, and it always applies bleed. I mean, nothing too bad with that. Range 3, it's pretty solid for that, which is good. No real notes on that. It's a solid ability. Then he's got another physical attack, We Are Venom, range 3, 7 dice for 3 power. After this attack is resolved, this character removes 1 damage for itself for each damage inflicted. This is really nice. Like seven dice, you're bound to get a couple successes through. It's a great way of keeping his stamina up a little bit, and it means that he can kind of recover from that lower energy defense. He's a lot harder to take down as a result. You really need to like make sure he goes down before he can activate. Otherwise, he's probably getting a bunch of stamina back as a result. So his superpowers, he has Clintar Rage, which is an active power for 3. It's an interactive terrain or character throw for size 3 or less within range 2 and thrown medium. I love the throw. It's a medium throw, which is great. It's both terrain and characters, which again, really good. The 3 power, it's where it probably should be in that regard. So yeah, no real notes on it. I think it's an absolutely fantastic throw. He's got Web Snare, push an enemy character within range 4 towards his character medium. They can only be pushed, a character can only be pushed by the superpower once per turn. For 2 power, he can do this to multiple characters, which is really kind of nice if he has the power. Now, granted, he has other things he typically wants to spend his power on than just repositioning everyone else, but it is something you can do. It's a great way of getting people within that range 3 of his threat range. So yeah, really solid. I like it a lot. Then we have probably the most interesting ability he has. So many snacks. A reactive power for 2. After an attack against this character is resolved, it can use a superpower. If the attacker is within range 3, this character may make an attack against the attacker. This superpower can only be used once per turn. So he can clap back. If someone punches him and they're within 3, he gets the opportunity to punch them back. And the best part is it doesn't have to be a symbiote tendrils. He can use his spender on this We Are Venom and potentially regain any damage that he just took from that attack. So this is really nice, especially when paired with one of his tactics cards. This is kind of like his best bread and butter, and it makes him really difficult to take down unless you just absolutely focus him down. Lastly, we have symbiotic instincts. When this character is attacking, the defending character cannot modify their defense dice. So this means no rerolls, no changing dice due to cover, uh, that sort of thing, right? So it means that you basically the dice as they lay is what you're going with. You can still explode your crits and everything like that, but it makes it a lot harder to get those redundancies that some characters have. And then he has Wall Crawler. So that's Venom's card itself. So we're going to jump into Lethal Protector, and then we're going to talk about the character overall. So Lethal Protector is a tactic card that he brings. It's unaffiliated, it's reactive. When an enemy character targets an allied character within 3 of an allied Venom with an attack, Venom may spend 2 to play this card. Place Venom within 1 of the allied character, Venom becomes the target of the attack regardless of range and line of sight. So this one's really cool because first off, it places Venom quite a bit of distance, especially on this medium-sized base. It redirects the attack to him, and it opens up his ability to get so many snacks in and maybe clap back. And with his bulky defensive or with his bulky stamina, it means a lot of the time he's probably staying up regardless of the attack. Which allows him to clap back and just take some pressure off. It's a great card, and it's really what kind of turns Venom on. Now, as far as Venom as a whole in the game, where does he kind of stand? Well, obviously he's a web warrior, he's a spider foe, and he brings some good stuff to the table in that regard. His biggest problem right now is probably the fact that a lot of the dominant factions do have a lot of energy kicking around, and the 2 energy defense can seem rather bad. The thing is, the difference between 2 and 3 defensive dice isn't really huge, and his stamina pool kind of makes up for that. Yeah, it means you can get spiked down if somebody rolls really well and you only have 2 dice to defend against it, or if you get incinerated. So there are obviously things where that really make that two defensive dice worse. But overall, I think a lot of people are scared off by that, and I think they shouldn't be. I think Venom actually brings a lot of really cool stuff to the table, and people should play around with him and experiment with him. I think he can do a lot of good in any sort of faction that wants to apply some of that pressure. I've had a lot of fun with him in say like MODOK Criminal Syndicate. I've seen him do some really great stuff in a local players Avengers list for a good while. So he can really do some stuff. Be mindful of it. Don't put him into positions where obviously he's going to get dummied. Like if you're looking at Guardians across the table, maybe leave him at home. But there's a lot of other factions where he can actually do a lot of really good work into. So I definitely think he's worth exploring in those regards. But yeah, so that's Venom. Leave your comments below. Let us know if what you think about Venom and what you like about him or dislike about him, all that sort of stuff, and where you might think he goes. And of course, we're gonna keep on this train and keep with the dossiers. So thank you so much for watching. Happy wargaming.